In the deep and humid forests of Central and East Africa, where the soil is warm and the undergrowth trembles with life, a silent force begins to move. It starts as a faint rustle, almost insignificant. But within moments, it becomes a living tide, an unstoppable wave of bodies, jaws, and blistering aggression. This is the march of driver ants, the species known scientifically as Dorylus nigricans. To many, they are the most terrifying ants on Earth. To the ecosystem, they are one of the most essential engines of balance. And to the animals that cross their path, they are a force of nature that commands respect. Driver ants, often called safari ants, belong to one of the largest and most formidable ant genera in the world, Dorylus. Their colonies can reach extraordinary numbers, sometimes exceeding 20 million individuals, making them not just insects, but a mobile superorganism, an entity capable of overwhelming almost any animal unfortunate enough to stand in its way. While many ant species defend, forage, or hunt, driver ants do all of it in one synchronized, devastating flow. They are renowned for their coordinated army-style raids, where millions of workers surge across the landscape in a massive column, devouring everything from beetles and scorpions to lizards, small mammals, and even birds. What sets driver ants apart from other ant species is their specialization in extreme collective aggression. They're soldiers, easily recognizable by their elongated, scissor-like mandibles, are living weapons. These jaws are so powerful that people across Africa traditionally use them as natural sutures, pressing a soldier ant against a wound, letting it bite, and then breaking off the body, leaving the locked mandibles clamping the wound shut. The fact that these ants can grip human skin with such force offers a glimpse into what they can do to much smaller prey. Yet for all their ferocity, the heart of the colony lies with a single queen, perhaps the most extraordinary in the entire ant world. The driver ant queen is enormous, reaching lengths of up to 5 centimeters, dwarfing even the largest workers. Swollen with eggs, she becomes the reproductive engine of the colony, capable of laying hundreds of thousands of eggs per day. Her immense size prevents her from moving on her own, so she is carried, protected, and fed by her workers as if she were a living deity. Every soldier, every worker, every larva, and every future generation depends on her survival. Unlike many ant species that maintain permanent nests, driver ants live a life in motion. Their colonies alternate between two major phases. In the nomadic phase, millions of ants roam the forest in daily hunting raids, forming temporary camps at night. These bivouacs, living nests formed entirely by the interlocked bodies of workers, are masterpieces of biological engineering. They can expand, contract, ventilate, and reorganize as needed, responding to temperature, predators, and the queen's needs. In the stationary phase, the colony becomes anchored to a fixed location. Here, the queen focuses intensely on reproduction. Thousands of larvae hatch daily, and the workers dedicate their energy to feeding and raising this explosive new generation. As soon as the brood matures, the colony breaks camp and resumes its relentless march. Despite their terrifying reputation, driver ants play a crucial ecological role. They regulate insect populations, clean up carcasses, and even shape the evolutionary behavior of the animals around them. Birds, like the honey guides and thrushes, often follow the raiding columns to feast on fleeing insects. Mammals, including mongooses and civets, take advantage of the chaos to catch prey flushed out by the ants. For the forest, the arrival of a driver ant column is a reset, an intense ecological event that redistributes life. But for many forest animals, the driver ants represent something else: fear. As the first beams of sunlight filter through the canopy, the forest floor begins to vibrate with a subtle but unmistakable rhythm. It is not the wind, nor the movement of larger animals. It is something far more organized, far more deliberate. The bivouac of Dorylus nigricans, a living fortress formed entirely from the interlocked bodies of millions of ants, begins to shift. The mass expands and contracts like a single breathing organism. Then, as if responding to an invisible signal, it dissolves. Workers detach, soldiers reposition, and the superorganism awakens. The raid is about to begin. The first to advance are the scouts, sweeping outward like a dark tide. Their antennae tap and sweep over the ground, tracing faint chemical cues that might lead them to prey. Behind them, the main column begins to form, a dense, writhing artery of ants stretching meters across the forest floor. The speed at which they organize is astonishing. Within minutes, the once stationary fortress becomes a moving army, flowing across roots, stones, and fallen leaves with a precision that defies their tiny size. At the tip of the column, the vanguard spreads into a wide assault front. Here, the real intensity begins. A beetle tries to flee but is instantly overwhelmed. A small gecko darts toward the safety of a tree trunk, only to have soldiers clamp onto its tail with mandibles that lock like biological bear traps. A millipede curls defensively, but even its armored plates are no match for the relentless workers that slip beneath its segments, slicing through flesh with terrifying speed. The forest remains silent. The chaos of the hunt occurs beneath the threshold of sound, but not beneath the threshold of life. This is the hunting strategy of the driver ant: overwhelming saturation. They do not sneak, flank, or ambush. They do not wait in shadows. They descend with unstoppable density, suffocating their prey under sheer numbers. Anything that cannot escape instantly is doomed. Yet, within this brutality lies astonishing organization. Workers and soldiers function as distinct castes, each performing roles with military efficiency. Workers swarm the prey, tearing it into manageable fragments. These pieces are passed backward, down long chains of carriers, eventually reaching the brood. The larvae, soft-bodied, hungry, and growing rapidly, form the nutritional center of the colony. Everything the workers kill feeds them. The soldiers, meanwhile, serve as both frontline attackers and living shield walls. With oversized heads and scissor-like mandibles, they block entry points, protect the queen, and fight off threats. Their bite is so strong that once they clamp down, they rarely release. This defense mechanism is so reliable that many African communities traditionally used soldier ants as emergency sutures. It is a testament to the sheer strength of these tiny warriors. And then, protected deep within the swarm, lies the queen. The queen of Dorylus nigricans is one of the most remarkable figures in the insect world. Loaded with eggs, she can grow up to 5 centimeters long, colossal by ant standards. Her abdomen is so swollen that she cannot walk. Instead, she is carried everywhere by her attendants, specialized workers that cradle her gently, ensuring she never touches the ground. Others massage her abdomen, stimulate egg production, and remove waste. At peak reproductive periods, she may lay hundreds of thousands of eggs per day, fueling the colony's enormous population. She is the nucleus around which the entire superorganism revolves. The workers fight for her, feed for her, build for her, and die for her. In return, she ensures the colony's immortality. As the raid expands, other forest creatures take notice. Birds, including thrushes, starlings, and the famous honey guide, shadow the swarm, snatching insects that flee before the approaching ants. Small mammals, from mongooses to genets, also take advantage of the chaos. For them, the driver ants are not enemies, but tools, biological bulldozers that flush prey from hiding. Even large animals respect the swarm. Elephants step around major columns. Buffalo reroute their paths. The ants cannot kill these giants, but their bites are so painful that few are willing to test their luck. Humans, too, know to keep their distance. When a column marches through a village, people often clear out temporarily. They leave doors open, avoid blocking the ants, and wait. The swarm enters, hunts, cleans, and eventually leaves. And once the ants are gone, the village is free of pests, rats, roaches, scorpions, spiders, all swept away by the living tide. In this way, the ants provide an unintended service, acting as the most thorough exterminators on Earth. By afternoon, the raid begins to wind down. Workers return carrying fragments of prey. The swarm slows, contracts, and begins constructing a new bivouac. The structure rises quickly, a living honeycomb made of interlocked workers forming walls, chambers, and tunnels. Soldiers line the outer surfaces, their heads forming an armored barrier. Within the innermost chamber, the queen is carried into place, surrounded instantly by her attendants. As night descends, the forest grows quiet once more. The living fortress settles into a hum of activity, feeding, tending, guarding. But the silence is deceptive. For Dorylus nigricans, rest is never more than temporary. Hunger is constant. Growth is relentless. And the world they inhabit bends around their presence. When dawn returns, the tide will rise again.